Now, the media left, the Muslim lobby, Labor, career diplomats, they'll all be furious about any suggestion to move our embassy in Israel to the capital, Jerusalem. And already the ABC is reporting that Muslim Indonesia is so angry that it might postpone a trade deal that it was negotiating with Australia. And Labor, which holds almost all the seats with big Muslim minorities, they attacked.
The Secretary of DFAT has said that the US decision to move its embassy to Jerusalem had not been helpful and had made what was already a very, very difficult process even harder. Why is the Prime Minister ignoring the view of Australia's top diplomat and making up foreign policy on the run? Does the Prime Minister seriously expect anyone to believe that this stunt was about anything other than Wentworth? Is he really so desperate that he will say and do anything to save Wentworth?
Joining me is the Liberal Deputy Leader and Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, who I guess I should also declare is Jewish. Josh Frydenberg, thanks for joining me. First, can we be clear?
Nice to be with you.
You haven't actually promised that you will move our embassy to Jerusalem, have you? You'll only consider it, and you might not do it at all.
Well, that's right. The Prime Minister has said that he will consider it, but I think this was a principled and positive announcement by Scott Morrison, and it wasn't just about the embassy, it was also about our voting intentions at the United Nations, it was also about the Iran nuclear deal, and it was also about extending our defence cooperation with attachés in our respective countries. Now, these announcements by Scott Morrison are consistent with our national interests. It's consistent with our history of supporting the only democracy in the Middle East. And Australia and Israel next year will enjoy 70 years of diplomatic relations. And to date, there's been a lot of bipartisanship, but I fear that right now the Labor Party is drifting further apart from Israel, while the Liberal and the National parties are showing their closeness and affinity for the State of Israel.
I have been worried, I've said before, about the Labor drift away from Israel and pandering to some Muslim rejectionists. But I just want to go back to this. What might make you decide not to move the embassy to West Jerusalem, which I've always argued makes absolute sense? Why would you not say straight out, let's do it?
Well, I think there will be a process of consideration of that and the implications for Australia. But, you know, right now we haven't made any final decisions. And
why not?
As the Prime Minister, well, because I think there's going to be a process now, Andrew, where he's going to consider it. But as you said in your introduction, as part of any long-term peace settlement in the Middle East involving Israel and the Palestinians, West Jerusalem would remain in Israel's hands, and Israel would remain sovereign, as it has done since 1948. And I think it's really important to understand that. And America's move, Donald Trump's move to put their embassy in Jerusalem was actually only just following through on commitments that were given by President Bush, by President Clinton and President Obama. It was a bipartisan position in the United States government and political system for decades to support moving the embassy, but only Donald Trump actually saw it through.
Yep, good man there. Now, only an idiot would think this announcement wasn't timed to help you win the Wentworth by-election. But I'm just wondering, does that send an unfortunate signal that this is driven just by the Jewish vote when there are plenty of people like me that say independently there are reasons for this move?
Well, I think, Scott Morrison has directly answered that today, Andrew. There is a major vote coming up at the United Nations, and this has led him to reassess a lot of these issues in this particular area and to begin the various processes. But there's no doubt that the location of Australia's embassy in Israel has been on the agenda for some time. It's a difficult space. There are views on both sides of the political divide, and as you say, within the diplomatic service, the bureaucracy, intelligence community and so forth. But you name one other country where Australia has its embassy that is not in the nation's capital. Israel stands alone in that respect, and I think that is unfortunate, but there is a process that's underway. No decisions have been taken, and I commend the Prime Minister for his strength, his resolve, and for this positive announcement.